What happened? Oh my god, it took them over an hour to get there, presumably. If they were at the hospital at 5:30 and now it's 7:18, oh my goodness. A long ride. Okay, I took a little break to get get a new batch of water to see if maybe that'll help with my dry mouth. And I also made some tea, which or rather I made some milk tea. So hopefully the half and half milk creamer will help to kind of coat my throat or mouth in a way that will make it not as dry. I think it's already doing a little bit better, but I won't know until I actually do the thing. So let me just take a sip. It's so hot. Ow. Okay. Well, my mouth may be coated with cream, but also I just burned my lip. Okay. Well, let's just get back. Oh! He's the dead man? I wasn't expecting him to be the dead one. Also, this house is in shambles. What happened? Why? Okay. King George, you good, fam? What on earth? He's still got a fork in his hand, though. Oh my! The gentleman's deceased without question! He's dead! But... I thought I was gonna be done. I guess it makes sense I wouldn't be done with you, but also I thought I was gonna be done with you. Okay. I'm glad it coated my throat and my mouth for this. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Mr. Natsume! Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? This is not Natsume's house. Oh, it's the building, I guess. I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woeful worm without wiggle. Why do you do this to me? Why do I do it to myself? Why did I... Okay. I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Yeah! Not that horrible Herlock Sholmes! Shove off! Show yourself to the door! I never invited you! To be fair, he helped you. Or rather, he helped us in a way that helped us to find the truth in your case, Oseki. So, I mean, I know he's the one who sent you to jail, but also, like, give him a little freebie a little bit. Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? I forgot about him! Mario. Here they are already, the busybodies. And I could 100%, I don't know how I forgot about it, but I forgot about him. Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes. I wonder if that might not be for a different reason. Do British people eat their fish and chips with tartar sauce? I know vinegar is a thing, but do they eat it with tartar sauce? Or is tartar sauce an American thing? I don't know. Ha! I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything. What? Okay. Or good morning to you too, Sunshine. Were you always able to... I guess not. You can see his feet. You can see his feetsies. He's wearing sandals. Isn't it wintertime? I guess you're indoors, so it doesn't matter. But I think this is the first time we've seen his feetsies. That's weird. I guess we've never seen him outside of the courthouse and in jail. Huh. Interesting. I'll examine this stuff after I've talked to them, or do I talk, or do I examine? What's the let's examine stuff before I talk, I guess. Oi! What? Mario! I said hands off! You're gonna mess up my crime scene! Oh, No, I just wanted to look, that's all. No chance. I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it. Ugh, someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? Alright, it sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. Talk to the inspector first? No thanks, I'll talk to Saseki though. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences! Yo, his sweat drop be big. So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So did you know the victim? Were you friends? It was the bee! It was the bee man! He must have done it. I keep calling him bee man, but I actually don't know if he was actually a bee. What's wrong? He just asked if you were friends. Were you guys lovers? What's the matter with Saseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken up by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever write me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it! Did he ever invite me to his room? No. What? Okay. What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking for you to come. Throw that inspector over there! Oh, the inspector was... I'm surprised the inspector even okayed it. Oh, I like that I investigated just one thing and it made everything look like it was checked because they don't want me to investigate. Alright, Mr. Man, standing next to King George's cape. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? And who was he? Mario, Mr. William Shamspear. I mean, Shamspear is correct enough, I suppose. I'd rather he have a different name, though, considering that he looked like a fucking jester. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss, as it happens. Or just dead. Mr. Shamspear? It was the landlord, old Mr. Garadab, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garadab got worried and kicked the door down. But doesn't Mr. Garadab have a bad leg? Oh yeah, you're right there. Oh, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there that actually did the kicking. Really? Saseki-san? The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life, and a miserable end to it. So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious. But I thought it'd be prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter. Oh, you're already assuming he did it? You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. It certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. The body's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. What if he just choked on his food? If his body is still warm and there was no one in here when they kicked the door down? Why is it always so funny? Oh my... I just love how you just see him sticking it. This game game is such a delight. Alright, sorry. I was just fucking talking about a dead man and suddenly this man... God. What was I saying? Oh, what if he just choked on his food, or he like... or like was poisoned, or like he just died from being poor or something, you know? Anything is possible. Wait. Oh, does he want me to talk to this Sholmes? Because everything is still checked. Alright, hello, what are you doing? Mario? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Ah, you need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally. There's something natural about that pose. That's also a hard pose to keep. I'm surprised you... Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madame, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. My goodness! But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could, indeed, see it that way. Oh, maybe we won't go to... No, he said something about going to court, so I guess we are going to be going to court. I thought maybe we'd just be investigating or something. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible... whatever, conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Okay, well, that can't be the case because he... Ah! Ah! Why is everyone so close? Get back! Okay, thank you. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me. I forgot I was here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night and past the victim's lips. Nonsense! I don't think we've ever seen him make this kind of face. It's so scary. He's like a nutcracker. Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No, please, pretend I'm not here! Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant! Impossible to ignore. You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail. But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2x. We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? Probably a lot of wrong things, but... So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Yay! It's that fun shit. That good fun shit. Cause of death. I can't believe he's dead. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. It's definitely not. That must be from his tea or like cream or something. Is that a cake? Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you will observe, a pound cake? 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. I don't think that's soap. Why is this soap set so purposely upon the dish? Like the victim's Last Supper, in fact. Yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taken up in arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. What? Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end, he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast, whatever. What London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Why do you assume it's soap? Is that not cake? Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather from the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Why would... Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. Why are you just saying that so confidently as if he was just eating a bar of soap? What? You may be poor, but why would you wouldn't just eat something that's not edible, right? I don't know. Well, yeah, whatever. The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man die and die alone? A single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certain. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Along with his inferior soul, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid, aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. No possible perpetrator present. Okay. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction. I guess it's to be expected that he would say a lot of wrong, stupid shit, but man. He ate soap! There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think that man would have just eaten soap? It is quite apparent that this man has barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. How extraordinary. Don't just believe what he says. In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. And did it? As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Okay. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? It's Mr. Natsume. I thought that was ham in his pocket. I think I might have thought that last time too. It looks like he has a slice of bologna or like ham in his pocket. Oh. I couldn't help noticing shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched the nerve somehow. Nonsense. Ooh. He got me there. I thought he was about to scream. Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observation and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. It's just like doesn't even. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Oh, I see. He's one end of a hammer, the blunt end, and we're the other side that's like the crowbar, like that has to like straighten it. Cool. All right then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the keywords in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at Oh my god. I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtains rise. For Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasonable, reasonable? Logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1. Okay, I feel like I'm getting slightly getting more into the hang of the voicing, and for me personally, man. Okay, I think that tea really did help. So what's happening now? Alright. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us that the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates that the use of poison. Which is right, it looks like. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you will observe, soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. Why is that soap set so purposely upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes. Could it be that the young man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. So not the fork? So that is a bar of soap? That can't be it. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies that a man was eating something. Or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not that man really ate some soap. Oh, you mean the foam in his mouth? Could it be? So we're to assume that he actually did eat the soap? Why can't I turn? Can I? What? Oh. Oh. I suppose you eat soap with a fork, would you? I don't think it's a question of which implement you'd use. You shouldn't eat soap, full stop. But then why? Why does the man have a fork in his hand? Oh dear, I understand your frustration, Mr. Naruhodo. Please don't take it out on me. The point is, if we decide the man used this fork to eat soap, we wouldn't be changing Mr. Sholmes' deductions. I wasn't trying to select that, so we really ought to consider some other clues. I was just clicking on the— oh! Did he like use the fork to just break the soap bar in half? This is a big piece of soap though. Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamsir must have really loved that stuff. Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at the soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table? What the? How can that be? I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart. What do you mean, how can that be? Ryunosuke, it's clear that they're fucking the same bar soap, but like, what? I'm a little confused on what I'm supposed to be. Could it, would it be the man I was about to eat it? Of course the fork reveals the answer. The teacup? Do you think he was drinking tea with the soap? The cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing. How about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water, and he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp as much down as possible? Please remember that he may not actually have been the soap lover that he's been made out to be. Interesting. I don't actually know what I'm supposed to select here. So what? Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. That he was about to eat it? As in, like, I'm supposed to, like, look for something that will explain, like, what it was he was actually trying to do with the soap? I wanted to, like, investigate his mouth, but I guess that's not the teacup? Was he about to clean his... Was he trying to clean his cup and... Huh? There's nothing else to select, right? Fork... Teacup... The only thing I have to select is either the other half of the... There's something in his hand here that I can't... Is this another cup? I can't select it though. Like, it's not letting me go to it. So, is it a teacup? No. Okay. Oh, I forgot we changed his outfit. Here we have an empty teacup within arm's reach of the victim. I know this is not right, obviously. Clearly, if poison was the cause of death, the possibility that it was administered in his drink can't be overlooked. My dear fellow, possibilities are endless. The questions we are currently pondering is whether or not this vivacious-looking victim ate the soap. Until we've established that, I suggest you keep your possibilities to yourself. Look at the little... Look at the little thing on his shoulder! What is it? It looks looks like he has like a little outfit on, and then are the things on the flower thing, are those supposed to be his ears? He's got big ears. I wonder what it is. They probably explain what it is in the extras or whatever. We'll have to, but we won't look at that. We won't be able to look at that until the end of the game. Vivacious. Is that even how you pronounce that word? Vivacus? Vivacus? Vivacious? Might not be the most appropriate term to describe a dead man, Mr. Sholmes. Alright, so it's not the teacup, that's fine. There's another half of soap. Could it be the man was about to eat it? Some soap on a plate and a fork in hand. Even so, surely you wouldn't try to eat some soap no matter how hungry you... I can't skip this? This is what we must determine. Shut up. Until we can establish that with some certainty, we shan't make any progress. Talk about a slippery problem. What? I just... so the only thing I have to present is this other bar of soap. I just don't know why. I actually don't understand how this ties into. Let's see. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap, it reveals the answer. How? I don't. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. What? But it's obvious, for no deaths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Oh wait, we could have gotten a better- I wasn't even paying attention, we could have gotten a better view of the fucking hamster thing. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. I just don't understand why it's there! But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. And what excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo. And one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Perhaps he's suggesting that the man licked the soap rather than ate it? If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? The teacup? 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 The teacup? Look at these little footsies. There's something else to... I imagine it's a teacup, right? There's something else to point at. Okay. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed. Cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that the victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Is that so? The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was it suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. The Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far. Yes, we can imagine that surely before his death, Mr. Shamsir was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues. Why was it that this man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Something... How do I rotate that? Oh, here. Alright. Here's the other teacup. So the teacup on the table must have been Natsume's, presumably? And the cup in his hand must have been the one he drank from, which makes sense. Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. So they made like slight improvements to this. So, yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. Why did they use the silhouette of the fucking nickel guy? Not the nickel guy, I don't remember his name. The one that's always looking over here on the side. At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable! To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this? Oh wait, what? This is Ryunosuke. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I'm guessing it's the books on the table or that wine the wine bottle? I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the Helicon days of eating too much soap. But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about. Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. There's glasses on the table. There's an empty bottle of books. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially. I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read, The Picture of Monsieur Le Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gaboriel. Were those the books that Natsume had rented? Or bought? Wait, I'm sure I've heard these titles before. It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san had just been at the bookshop and bought them. That's right. And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think? Maybe the jester had gone to his room to get the books, then technically he might not be lying. But I think he's lying. I really don't know what to make of it. A pile of familiar books. There's nothing else to look at, right? What is this cat? Is this a cat door? No, nothing. Alright. Oh man, my eyes are tired. I'm assuming it's this. Whoop. Yeah, what was I saying? I think there's been like slight improvements to this part, the deduction part with the animation and stuff. I don't know if it's like I don't know if I'm making that up, because like I haven't seen it in so long, but like I feel like there's a lot more happening during these, like when their characters all on screen at the same time or whatever. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth. Maybe I'm just making it up. Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at the second-hand bookshop. That's just coincidence. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never, non-negotiable! If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. What was that? Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you couldn't conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned them. In other words, you could have only brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Just seeing his silhouette dancing around everywhere. What's happening? He danced to his house. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction. Okay. Well, I mean, that didn't answer the question of if it was suicide or murder. We know that he was here, but did he do the deed? Probably not, right? Because he wouldn't be so stupid as to fucking commit a crime right after he got out of jail. God, this log of shit will come out of my butt. Oh, the constipation. Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. Have we ever seen Gregson at this angle? Maybe we have. I don't know. Whatever. He looked odd. Whatever. Mario. Well then, Mr. Natsume. It would appear you're going to have to accompany me down to the yard again. But wait! Hold your horses! Yes? Door! Key! Locked! Entry! Exit entirely impossible! He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal. What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. Misery me! Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. Facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Herlock Sholmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but you have to help me, please, please. I'm innocent. All right, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more thing. Oh, yes? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me.